What's going on, everyone? Wildcard here, bringing you another one of Wildcard Storytime. So, last episode we talked about cheating in Yu-Gi-Oh! This time I'm not going to give you part 2 just yet. This one is actually going to be Town of Salem related. So, in the story time, I remember, I'm still new at the game basically, but I haven't played it in a while. But I remember going into the game and excited about what I would get, and I ended up picking up Investigator. This was one of my first ever games, so I actually knew a little bit on how to play Investigator. So I went into it hoping not to get killed night one. So I remember investigating the first person I investigated. Godfather came up as I believe if I remember correctly, it was medium, Godfather, or Arsonist. Now this was a casual game, so I know Arsonist doesn't exist in casual anymore. Um, from what I've seen. So this person was either the Godfather or the medium. So after night one was finished, day two came in, and I immediately questioned the person in front of everyone. You know, can't remember which number it was, but I was like, "Hey, guy, what's your role?" And he announced in front of everyone that he was a veteran. So I immediately posted my will and told the town he's lying, he's a Godfather, vote him off. So the guy didn't even try to defend himself, and something happened that usually doesn't happen with me in Town of Salem. The town actually listened to me, and they voted him off. And wouldn't you know, it was actually the Godfather. So day two, first investigated, I picked up the Godfather immediately, and I was happy about that. I was like, okay, well, cool. So other members of the town congratulated me on that, and they were like, good job. And some of them were saying that okay, yeah, this guy is confirmed investigator. So I felt good having town on my side, and I was like, yeah, okay, so I'm going to win this. I'm actually helping out town. Then go on to the other night. So at this point in time, I was hoping that probably a lookout or a town protection would have been on me, because that would have raised a red flag. I took out Godfather like almost immediately. I sold out Godfather almost immediately because being an investigator. So the other night, I picked up this other guy, and he came up as, I believe it was executioner or serial killer. I believe there was another role involved here. I think it was a town role. I can't remember, but I remember it was executioner, serial killer. I know serial killer was there. So posted my will again. They voted him. They went to vote him off, and wouldn't you know it, he was a serial killer pretending to be the escort, which, as he wasn't the escort. So after night one, I couldn't vote off anybody. So we're into day two, day three. Got Godfather, serial killer. So two more mafia to get, mafioso and framer. So at this point, I'm feeling fairly confident, knowing that townspeople will slow down on dying, seeing as though as got rid of serial killer and the Godfather. So, but something strange happens going into night 4, I believe it would be. Did I check that correct? No, it would be night 3. No, night 4. No, day 2, day 3. Yeah, it would be night 3, sorry, yeah. So, going into night 3, something strange happens. And by strange, I mean I get jailed. And here I'm thinking, okay, is the jailer jailing me to protect me? But what I noticed, it confused me beyond words. As soon as I was jailed, I saw the text come up, the jailer has decided to execute you tonight. So I'm confused and I asked Jailor, I was like, I tell him, Jailor, I'm investigator, what are you doing? Because at this point I'm thinking, what the hell? Like, why is the jailer executing me? Is this a joke? Jailor then tells me that the Jester, I can't remember the guy's name or number, but he turned out to be the Jester. He said the Jester claimed the investigator um previous night when he jailed him. So therefore that means that I'm lying. And I told him, I was like, Jailer, okay, listen to me very carefully. You're being a very bad player right now because I was confirmed investigator since day 2, and he told me that there's no such thing as a confirmed investigator from day 2, that that's not possible. And I go on to tell him, I told him, I was like, I sold out both the Godfather and serial killer and have a viable will. He said that doesn't matter because I am obviously lying. And at this point, I was like, okay, this guy's an idiot. And I don't often like to call people out like that, especially on games like that. I don't believe in being toxic, but there's being toxic, and then there's telling people things as it is. If it is that I all the evidence was there to confirm that I was investigator and I was getting rid of the evils. It's how he says that it didn't matter that I sold out Godfather and serial killer, right? That I could still be mafia, and I'm like, okay then. So long story short, I get executed, and then the next day, townspeople come down on the jailer, and they really tore into the jailer about his decision, tell him that his decision was stupid, he's a bad, they were being toxic towards him. They really let him have it, that on Solid Game reporting jailer for throwing that, and they kept asking him why did he um execute confirm the investigator, and then the jailer did another surprising thing that left me without words. When he saw that I was really investigator and executed me, and everyone was coming down on him, he DC'd. He just straight up left the game. And we were without a jailer, and the same person who, and long story short, coming down to the end of the game, the same person who he spared, who was Jester, they let Mafia win. Because they realized that nobody was going to vote them off as Jester, and they just straight up let Mafia win. Because at that point they could have easily deduced who was Mafia, who was Town, and they had the deciding vote in allowing Town to win or allowing Mafia to win, and they chose to sign with Mafia. And I can't be mad with that decision because they Jester is neutral evil. If a neutral evil sides with evil, I mean, can't be surprised with that. But it was disappointing. It was disappointing, to say the least, because you know, especially in town of Salem, when it is, you have the town support and you're working well with the town as a town member, and then there's this one guy that just comes along and just ruins it for the rest of the town. And not to say that any of us were playing badly. Well, I mean, he made a bad decision by listening to the Jester. Um, at that point, immediately, since I was basically confirmed investigator, and he claimed investigator, me being the jailer, I would have executed him right there and then, and we would have seen the Jester got executed, and that would have turned around the entire game. Town would have actually win because the factors involved that caused us to lose would have been removed. But it was a casual game, it wasn't a ranked game, it was early on, and it was then and there I learned that, in Town of Salem, people don't usually use common sense. It's either they don't use their common sense or they don't pay attention Um, if it was an instance where somebody really didn't know how to play the game and didn't really understand the mechanics, that I could have understood. I could have understood that, right? But seeing something so blatant as me being confirmed investigator and then just ignore that, it, you have to admit that was bad. So yeah, that's it for my Town of Salem story time where the jailer executed me for no apparent reason. So I hope you enjoyed this video and there will be more story times to come. Though I haven't forgotten about the second part to my Yu-Gi-Oh! Cheating video. That would be story time number 3. So I'll work on that and get it to you guys as soon as I can. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.